Welcome to MTG Anarchy, where we take a look into the world of Magic the Gathering and stir up a little bit of chaos. This is Michael, and it's great to see you guys here. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As I mentioned the other day, we are actually going to do a random crack-a-pack. Now, these random crack-a-packs they're random. Ultimately, whatever we roll with this four-sided die, four-sided pyramid die, we're going to go ahead and open. But before we actually go ahead and jump into actually choosing which pack we're going to go ahead and open, if you like content like this and you feel like you wanted to go ahead and support me as a content creator, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that bell notification, because I'm wanting to go ahead and do a lot of videos on stuff like this, but I also want to go ahead and make sure that everybody's going to be able to go ahead and see what I'm able to do. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the packs that we could potentially open today. The first pack is going to be Theros Beyond Death. That's number 1. War of the Spark is number 2. Number 3 is Core Set 2019. And number 4 is another Theros Beyond Death pack. The reason why there's 2 Theros Beyond Death packs is because of the fact that, you know what, Theros has just barely recently come out. And honestly, it's going to be a good thing if we roll one or the other. So, honestly, let's just go ahead and see what we go ahead and get. So again, Theros Beyond Death, number 1. War of the Spark, number 2. Core Set 2019, number 3. And Theros Beyond Death, number 4. When we are going to be looking into these packs, we're going to go ahead and look at them one by one and talk about the cards in the pack. But with that said, let's go ahead and roll. And the number that we're going to roll is 4. Okay, so today we are going to be taking a look into Theros Beyond Death. Again, I don't know why that didn't get on camera. Let's try the die one more time, just making sure. There we go. It would have been 3. So 3 would have been the proper roll, but we got a 4. So you know what it is, what it is. All right, so again, Theros Beyond Death. Let's see if this one, depending on what it is, or how it's open. There's no pull tab, so this is the other type of card. Alright, and just to go ahead and save a little bit of time, I'm going to go ahead and make sure we have the energy as well as the token up front. So, first thing, let's go ahead and see what we have. I'm going to call a Plains. And Island. Not bad. Right. Island's always a good color. Blue's always a good color when it comes to playing spells. And we got ourselves a spider token. So spider tokens, honestly, I feel like when it comes to the spider tokens, they're not that bad, especially with the newest legendary creature that creates these types of creatures. So honestly, I think the spider legendary is actually going to see a bit of, I hope to see it seeing a good amount of play. But let's go ahead to the first card. And you guys have already seen this before. Vexing Gull. So it's a 3-drop creature bird with flash and flying, and it has 2/2. Honestly, this is actually a really good card. I think for 3 to flash and have a flyer out in a limited sort of format, honestly, it should do some work, and that should not have gone through, but it did. So we're going to still focus on going ahead and talking about Vexing Gull. Yeah, honestly, I think when it comes down to this card, it's not a bad card. I like Vexing Gull. I think limited, like I said, it's going to see a bit of play. But when it comes to constructed, a 2/2 flyer for 3, and you can flash this in at any time, not bad. So I think this is a pretty decent card. Next up, we have Aspect of Manticore. 3-drop, 2 colorless and red, enchantment aura, flash, enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, enchanted creature gains first strike until end of turn. It gets +2/+0. Honestly, not a bad aura enchantment, especially getting the first strike until end of turn and getting +2/+0. I wish you could have kept the first strike opportunity and so forth, but you know what, it is what it is. But limited, like I said, limited sort of formats are actually going to see, this might see a little bit of play in a limited sort of format, limited enchantress, I don't know. Sun Mane Pegasus. 4-drop, so 3 colorless and a white. Creature Pegasus has flying, and if you pay 1 and a white, Sun Mane Pegasus gains Visualist and Lifelink until end of turn, and it's a 2/3. Honestly, this doesn't seem like it would be a bad card, especially if you have to pay to get lifelink and vigilance. I mean, it's a white sort of thing with the whole vigilance lifelink sort of situation. And for 4, I mean, it's not bad. So I think with the cost in general, if it was a 3, it would have been really, really good. But expect to see this in a little limited play for white weenies or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the deck. I don't play standard. All right. Next up, though, we have Moss Viper. It's a green drop snake 1/1 with Death Touch. It's an adorable little snake. But yeah, honestly, it's not a bad card. Limited or even just regular standard, or any sort of format. A 1/1 Death Toucher. They're really good, so I like them. I like this one. I think it'll see a little bit of play, especially in stuff that needs to go ahead and have things to get rid of. So, Blight Breath Catoblepus. 6 drop, 4 colorless, 2 black. It's a beast. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to black. And it's a 3/2. Honestly, for limited or like draft experiences, this is not a bad card. I'd say if you're doing mono black devotion, yeah, no, this will go ahead and definitely get rid of a creature that has indestructible or anything like that. So honestly, I would not sleep on this card. It's a really good card, so I like it. Next up, we have Witness of Tomorrows. 5 drop for colorless and a blue. Enchantment creature Sphinx. It's a 3/4. It has flying, and if you pay for it, you scry 1. Honestly, the Scry 1 ability is nice, but for 4, I don't know. It's a 3/4 flyer for 5. I feel like there's better cards, but to me, it's just, if you decide to go ahead and focus on a flying sort of aspect, maybe you might want to play this to go ahead and make sure you're getting to the right cards that you need to. But yeah, Witness of Tomorrows. Next up, Rumbling Sentry. It's a 5 drop, 3 colorless, 2 white. It's a 3/6 giant, and when it enters the battlefield, scry 1. Honestly, it's not bad. It has that toughness of 6, and the scry is not bad, but I don't think this is going to see a lot of play in any sort of format. Maybe if you just needed a big blocker, then you know what, this will help, but it doesn't even have reach. And I mean, look how big that thing is. It should have reach. All the giants should at least have reach or something. But you know what? It is what it is. That's how this place goes. So, next up, we have Voracious Typhoon. It costs 4, so 2 colorless and 2 green. It's a snake beast. It's a 4/4. It has escape for 5 and 2 green. So exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, and it escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Not bad. Honestly, to me, this isn't a bad card. I mean, you can keep bringing it back out from the graveyard, and if you have enough mana, which in green you're going to have enough mana, and when it escapes, it's going to be a 7/7. Not a bad card. Honestly, starts as 4/4, then goes to 7/7. Yeah, this will definitely see play in like a draft sort of situation if you pull it, especially for green decks. All right, now we got Scophos War Leader. It's a 4 colorless and a red Minotaur Warrior. It's a 4/5, and if you pay red, sacrifice another creature or an enchantment, it gets +1/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. It's not bad. I wish you just had to pay just the 1 and not sacrifice a creature enchantment to get the +1/+0 and menace. But I mean, it will become a 5/5 for 5, and it gets menace. I mean, that's not a bad card, but if you're playing this in a sack weenie deck, then I think you could play with this card. But honestly, that's all I could really see it as, because you can just sack Satyrs. They don't block, and you can give this menace and a +1/+0. So yeah, it can potentially become a 5/5. All right, now let's go to the next one. We've got Mire's Grasp. So 1 colorless and a black, enchantment aura, enchant creature, and enchanted creature gets -3, -3. Actually, really not a bad card. Honestly, this is a really good card, especially for black, because it's going to reduce the power and toughness, and you could potentially go ahead and kill it. Or kill the creature that you're trying to put this on, as long as the toughness is at least 3 or less. So honestly, not a bad card. I can see this in black devotion decks and blue-black types of decks, because you're getting rid of creatures, and honestly, this gets past indestructible. This sort of thing does. All right, next up, I think it's the uncommons. Yes, it's the uncommons here. We have Scophos Maid Warden, so it's 4/4, 3 colorless and a red. It's a creature minotaur warrior. If you pay 1, it gets +1/-1 until end of turn. 3/4, and whenever another creature becomes the target of an ability of a land you control named Labyrinth of Scophos, you may have this creature, fight the other creature. Each deals damage equal to its power to the other. So, I mean, if you pay 1, or you pay at least 3, you can go ahead and pump this up to a 6/1. It's not bad. Honestly, it's going to be that fight ability. I think that there are better cards, but you know what? For an uncommon, it's not a bad card, especially if you're just paying 1. You just have to make sure you have the right sort of mana for it. Next up, we have Commanding Presence. So 4, 3 colorless, and a white. It is an aura, so you enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has first strike, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Honestly, this isn't actually that bad. I mean, not only does it give a creature +2/+2, it's going to give that creature first strike, and if it deals combat damage to a player, it's going to go ahead. You can get a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Actually, not a bad sort of card. To me, I think this was a really good card to pull. And I think if you're doing white weenie sort of situation, play this. Play this for sure. I mean, with Daxos, with Heliod, yeah, this should legitimately go ahead and see play. Okay. Last sort of uncommon before we get to the rare or mythic, depending on what's going on. So, we have Underworld Fires. It's 1 and a red. It's a sorcery. It deals 1 damage to each creature in each planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Honestly, it's not a bad burn-esque spell for 1 or for 2. And it's going to hit everything, so if it kills, make sure your creatures are a bit stronger than it, but honestly, it's not a bad card, especially if they are doing something like mono white weenies. But yeah, honestly, it is what it is. So I think this is an alright card. I think it's pretty decent. But last but not least, we're going to our rare. And our rare of the pack is Enigmatic Incarnation. So it's 2 colorless, a green and a blue. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another enchantment. If you do, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1, plus the sacrificed enchantment's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Honestly, this is meant for builds. This card specifically meant for enchantment builds. It's not bad, but honestly, there's better cards. There are way better cards. I mean, you can get stuff out, so if you play, let's say, this, you can get something that has converted mana cost 5 and put it onto the battlefield. I think this might actually see a little bit of play. Just, it depends on the deck. I think Simic decks will run this and everything like that. But honestly, I don't think a lot of people have good expectations on this. But I don't think the right deck is out there yet for this card. So honestly, we may see if it's a good card or not. But that said, we are now at the end of the video. So that is your Crack-a-Pack of the day. So if you like this type of video or anything like that, go ahead and leave a like and go ahead and share the video so then others can actually go ahead and see this video as well. Also, keep in mind, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell notification so you can keep up to dates on new videos that come out on this channel. But with that said, again, thank you guys so much for going ahead and joining me here at MTG Anarchy. This is Michael, and I hope I've gone ahead and thrown a little bit of chaos into your day. Thanks again.